Buyer's Guide is brought to you by Change Cars. Find your dream vehicle with Change Cars, the platform buyers trust.
This week on Buyer's Guide, compact SUVs from Volkswagen come under the spotlight.
We find out if an automatic Kia Picanto is the perfect car for a city runabout.
And we help a viewer whose Toyota Avanza is in need of a heart transplant.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Buyer's Guide. We hope you've all had a great festive season and some well-deserved rest.
Yes, and joining us in studio to help answer all your questions and queries are Buyer's Guide stalwarts Kumbi Msakazi from Kumbi M on Cars and Michael Pashut from Change Cars. Welcome, gentlemen. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Hope you all had a good festive season.
Fantastic.
Everybody's relaxed. We're going to move on. Michael, there's been some new developments at the Change Cars website. Please tell us a little bit more about your Sell Your Car.
Thank you, Adam. So when we launched Change Cars in June, we called it the platform buyers trust and franchise dealerships deserve. The single biggest challenge facing dealerships at the moment is quality used stock. We've introduced a little function on our website. You go there to sell your car. You upload any car that's got 15,000 kilometers a year or less average mileage, and then we market it for you to 400 plus of our quality franchise dealerships. The dealerships are loving it. There's a shortage of stock. The buyers are loving it because the type of prices they're getting is absolutely fantastic.
And that's a free service. There's
Free
no
service.
subscription or anything to that.
You don't pay to register. You upload your car showing the number plates and no charge whatsoever. The dealerships will interact with you directly. And as I said to you, you're dealing with the best dealerships in the country on our site, and we're really proud of that.
Fantastic. So you can sell your car and buy the car and get the best deal on both of them on changecars.co.za.
Okay, our first question comes from Marius, who needs a comfortable vehicle that is easy to get in and out of because of a severe back condition. He has a budget of between 550,000 and 650,000 and is looking at buying a new or used SUV. He's considered a few products from Volkswagen, but finds the t-roc's build quality to be very disappointing. And the Tiguan is a little bit too big for him. He adds that he hardly ever drives on gravel roads and he won't be keeping the vehicle for more than 5 years. Gentlemen.
He hasn't got a great budget for a brand new car. He said 550 to 650. I would personally recommend he looks at something secondhand.
He wants secondhand.
I'm a huge Land Rover Discovery 4 fan. Air suspension, supple ride, easy to get into, easy to get out of, electric seats. Based on the explanation that he's given us, I personally don't see anything else that would ideally
suit his back
him.
problem.
Correct.
Yeah, it's tricky, hey, because most of the cars that, he doesn't want something too big, but he wants something comfortable and something he can easily get in out. He mentioned the t-roc, and I fully agree with him. Build quality in that car is horrendous.
It's gone backwards, isn't it?
For that, yeah, it's definitely gone backwards. And I was actually going to say Tiguan, but he doesn't want a Tiguan either. And he doesn't want a Toyota. I was going to say, go Fortuner because he absolutely hates, apparently, Toyotas.
Yeah.
But, it's so tricky. When you think about it, I love BMW, and I think a lot of people know that. And I'm literally going to say X3. I think
a very nice choice.
It's the X3 for that price. You can get one with great mileage, still, warranty, everything's still in order. So, yeah, he's a very hard man to please, but understandably so because he's got back issues. And
Look, there's a couple of cars I'd like to throw in here, and one, the X3 you mentioned. You can find a good, like a base model 2-liter diesel.
Correct.
Don't go for one with the with the like 19, 20-inch rims because you get the low-profile tires. You want something with 17 or 18-inch tires. That means you've got a bigger aspect ratio on the tire and it's a bit more compliable. So the car's a little bit more comfortable. Now, he did mention he went to look at the new Volvo XC60. Now, I would recommend to go back and buy the previous generation XC60. I've got one of those, and it's got 18-inch rims on it with nice big fat tires like this, not the 20-inch. The R-Line comes out with a 20-inch, which is too narrow, and that does make the ride a little bit harder.
Is it a nice compliant ride with the 18s?
Yeah, I find with those 18-inch and the Volvo seats are exceptionally comfortable. It's not too big a car. It's a nice sized car. My wife drives this car, loves it. It's extremely comfortable, and you get a very good ride in it. So go and have a look at the previous generation, or even if you want the newer generation, your budget's a bit tight for the newer generation, but even if you can get one without the 20-inch rims on it, would be a great option to have a look at, because
You know what
they're
I've done, Adam?
extremely comfortable.
I'll give Marius an idea. He should go have a seat modification on his present car. He can have a seat designed to for his back. Might be a little bit costly or expensive, but there are a lot of guys out there who are happy to do that for you. They take a mold of your back and where you want to be, and they'll make you a seat.
Yeah.
So if he wants to be comfortable and he doesn't want to spend exorbitant amounts of money, he can have a seat made for his car.
Yeah, but the other problem with that is if you have a suspension, which is fairly hard, that's going to transmit through the car.
But I'm saying design the
Yeah.
seat. Ask them to
I'm with
design
you,
the
yeah.
seat that put the so-called air suspension in the seat so that his back is comfortable.
Yeah, you've got
That-
lots of air suspension in your seat. Yeah, we know about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's some advice for you. Hopefully, you can find something that's very comfortable for you. Right, we move on now to a question from Dominique, who has a budget of 150,000 Rand and would like to buy a used Land Rover Freelander.
Ouch.
Would a 2008 or 2012 model with around 175,000 kilometers be a good buy? Do they suffer from any reliability issues, and what are the maintenance costs like? Are there any specific when shopping for one of these vehicles? So,
If this was South Africa's Got Talent, you'd say, Dominique, you've got 4 no's.
yeah, no,
This is the wrong car for you completely. You're buying 150,000 Rand worth of trouble. Dominique didn't mention whether she's looking to buy it cash or finance, but I would imagine she's looking to finance it. Your maintenance costs on a vehicle like that will be minimum 20,000 Rand per year. No question.
yeah.
If you took that 20,000 Rand per year, that is roughly 2,000 Rand
Rand a
per
month,
month.
yeah.
That's an extra 100,000 Rand. Instead of buying a car for 150, buy a car for 250.
Yeah.
In a much better position. RAV, Nissan Qashqai, lovely car. The Fords, I wouldn't touch that Freelander
Yeah.
at all.
The thing with the Freelander is it's a nice looking car. It's a nice car to drive, but when it does give problems, I mean, if it blows its turbo, because they're all turbo diesels, if it blows its turbo, it's expensive. If it blows the gearbox, that's very expensive. Anything with those cars, remember when these cars were new, they were 600,000-700,000 K. So when they get down to the 150,000 Rand, you know, they're going to need money spent on them. And like you say, RAV4, Honda CR-V,
Beautiful.
go and have a look. These are reliable
Oh,
cars.
got the Korean stuff.
Yeah, iX35, Sportage,
I was about to say
Tucson.
Sportage.
Tucson,
Yes.
yeah.
Kumbi, I'm sure you've got some advice.
Yeah, I was literally going to say Sportage. Sportage is a great car. Tucson is a great car. Santa Fe can probably throw that in there.
And with 150K budget, she can even save 50K and pick yourself up 100,000 Rand iX35 or something.
iX35, another great car.
Yes.
Yeah, iX35 is also, it's good. And also the thing with these cars that we mentioned now, none of them are turbocharged engines. They're cheap to maintain.
Right.
They don't really give any problems. And you're not going to have any horrendous failures on them. It's quite unusual to find big, expensive failures.
Oh,
on
and if
those
you want to
kinds of
start
cars.
the new year off, well, leave that Freelander alone.
Yeah, because if you buy that Freelander from one of the dealerships, when you go back next week, you may find the dealerships moved
Closed down.
away. It's cheaper for them to move away than to fix your car.
Very true.
Okay, we'll be taking a short break, but when we return, we take a closer look at automatic city cars and how well they perform.
And premium hatchbacks from Audi and BMW, they're going to go head to head.
Find your dream vehicle with Change Cars, the platform buyers trust.
Welcome back to Buyer's Guide. Davy is 63 years old and in the market for a small automatic city car. He has a budget of 280,000 Rand and the Kia Picanto 1.2 style that's caught his eye. But is the automatic version a good version? What is the performance like on a small capacity auto compared to a manual version? Would it be reliable over a 5-year period? And if not, what else could we recommend? It'll be doing about 500 Ks a month, mainly, of course, around town, and he'd like to keep the vehicle for about 15 years. Kumbi, small automatic car.
To be honest with you, I do not go automatic in small cars. These 1.2s, I just don't do it. I think personally, just stick to your normal stick shift, manual gearbox. I mean, even when you're going uphill, you controlling,
Yeah.
what
When
you're
you're
doing.
65 years old, I want to see you playing with your stick shift.
Listen, Segi.
Listen, dude, when you're 65, I want to see you playing with your stick shift.
I think
But I disagree, but go ahead.
I really don't like these automatic gearboxes in these small cars. They are horrendous. and I'd suggest, even a Suzuki Swift, that's a great car. I mean, it's even slightly bigger. A Hyundai i20, even, pre-owned, you can get something.
What about the i10, the Grand i10?
The Grand i10 as well, and all these cars mostly, I see them mostly in manuals. I think automatic, yes, we all, we don't want to be changing our gears, but sometimes for a small city car, I wouldn't suggest an automatic.
But you're a young guy, you like to drive a car. So let's ask the old man here. Mike, automatic small cars.
I don't disagree per se, but I don't think the problem here is automatic or manual. Davy doesn't say whether he lives at the coast or inland. 1.2 on the Kia is non-turbocharged. I'd personally go slightly different. The Nissan Magnite, 1 litre turbo in automatic, because I'm older, a lot older. I do prefer the automatic, and I would imagine that Davy would be similar. That's why he's asking regarding the automatic.
Yes, and he's doing mostly town running.
Correct.
I am not driving no stick shift in town.
In a few years to come, I do not believe that manuals will even exist anymore.
Yes.
I mean, why would you want to do the work when something else can do it for you?
I think in the US, they're done.
Don't get
you won't find a manual.
Correct.
Well, a lot of the manufacturers here don't have.
You won't get a medium-sized car today in manual. Like, I don't think BMW make a 3 Series in manual at all anymore.
All autos,
So it's just all filtering down there. Automatic, without a doubt, I think the biggest challenge is the 1.2 non-turbocharged is underpowered.
I think here, Davy's going to go and buy a small car like this. He needs to go and drive it in auto and see if he's happy with it. Because, I may not like it, and Kumbi may not like it because it doesn't have enough power. But he may be one of these drivers that, he drives along at 60, 80 Ks everywhere he goes. It doesn't bother him. There are people that aren't bothered by the speed of it. So you need to see yourself if you're happy with the performance that the car gives. Because around about 280, you will buy yourself a Magnite. It's a 1 litre turbo. It gives you a bit more vuma on it. And you've got a
CVT gearbox.
Yeah. Correct. Good. It's a lovely drive. But I think, again, getting back to what you say, you've got to go drive that car. If it talks to you the moment you drive it, everything else almost becomes irrelevant. If it feels adequate, it is adequate.
Davy is 63. He wants an automatic. You guys should leave it alone. Let him get himself an automatic.
In about 25 years' time, I'm there, 63. So I'm getting the feeling of what it's like.
Yeah, and just for our viewers, Adam is 25. It's because he's a mechanic, he looks like this.
That's it. This is what the motor
this is what the motor industry does to both of us.
So go and drive it, see if it's adequate enough for you in terms of performance.
Yep. We stay with hatchbacks now, but we move considerably upmarket. Sifakatso will be turning 30 in a few months' time. He's been driving his mum's old Peugeot 207 since he got his license, and this has allowed him to save up some money, and now he's ready to buy his own car. He's looking at the Audi A3 Sportback 35 TFSI S-Line and the BMW 118i M Sport, either new or a demo model with less than 5,000 kilometers on the clock. Gentlemen, which one would you guys recommend?
Parts availability, the question that he asked, will be no issue on either of the two. I just love the fact that Audi have their freeway plan till 10 years, 200,000 kilos. I think in the S-Line package, it looks superb.
But that 10-year warranty, you have to pay extra for that.
Yeah. Correct.
So he's looking at the second hand, we said it wants to last 5 years. So if you've got it under 5,000 Ks, he's going to find a BM and he's going to find an Audi. Both of them are going to be under motor plan.
Correct.
So there's no risk in buying, so the car can fall apart about you. It's going to get fixed for free. But after 5 years is where the challenge comes, because after that period, either like Michael, you say, you can extend the Audi for 10 years, you can also extend the BMW. But you've got to look at those costs involved. And the best thing to do is to look now when you're going to buy the car. I want to extend it 5 years, more, whatever. See what the cost is. But Kumbi, what would you say out of the two cars?
I love the Audi. It's beautiful car, especially in the S-Line package. But like, I'm a huge BMW fan. I do love the BMW. I think especially in that M Sport pack as well, it looks brilliant. And I mean, right now with the amount of tech that's in there, it's brilliant. And I'm also going to shy from the Audi because of that DSG gearbox up in the long run. That is a pain that I never want to go through again. After
you've been through one already?
After 120,000 Ks, it becomes a problem, and but you know what? Ultimately, the cars are both still under warranty, etc. But like you said, he needs to go and essentially try and take out extended warranties, etc. But I'm going with the BMW. I think it looks good. The ride quality as well as the build materials in the BMW is way better than inside the inside the Audi.
I would have said the exact opposite, funny enough, in terms of the interior quality. I thought the Audi's a lot nicer than the BMW.
You see, I was going to say this just before you mentioned that if you're an Audi fan, you're going to love the Audi.
Yeah,
If
for
you're a
sure.
BM fan, you love the BM.
Correct.
So the Audi's front-wheel drive, the BM's rear-wheel drive. So it depends on which one you prefer, unless it's one of the new series which is also front-wheel drive.
Correct.
So depending on which model he's looking at.
Guys,
But they're both great
Mr.
cars. both
Picanto
nice.
is coming from a Peugeot 207. Any of those two cars
Or street ahead.
is light years ahead.
Yeah.
So he's going to spend his money wisely on either of them. But I have to agree with you, Kumbi, on the fact that the Audi is going to cost him some serious money.
But if it's under warranty, I mean,
Out of
out of
warranty,
warranty.
is going to cost him some money.
But both cars,
And like you said, that DSG gearbox, even if it fails in warranty, it's going to get sorted and all that.
Correct.
But do you want a car where your gearbox is failing, even if it's in warranty all the time?
Yep.
So, I'll go with you on this
And
one.
once it fails the first time.
Yes, and once it fails the first time, it's, I mean, I'd be very disappointed in a vehicle where the gearbox failed.
look,
Seriously.
I didn't mention that, because normally people shout at me, you're always going on about DSG gearbox. So Kumbi, thanks.
Kumbi, thank you for saying that.
So it's a choice. I mean, it's go drive both cars. Which one do you prefer? But listen to what Kumbi's saying here about the long-term reliability of the Audi compared to the BMW. I think the BMW long-term can be a more reliable car. All right. So don't go away, because after the break, what do you do with a Toyota Avanza that hasn't got an engine?
And we find out how you can tell if your tires are safe or not.
Find your dream vehicle with Change Cars, the platform buyers trust.
Thank you for tuning in to Buyer's Guide. Brian is 26 years old and owns a Toyota Avanza. The car was stolen. Ooh, what a surprise. And recovered not so long ago, whereafter it was taken to an SAPS vehicle pound. Unfortunately, upon inspection, he found that the vehicle was no longer in possession of its engine. I wonder where it went missing. He would like to know where can he find a replacement Toyota engine, or should he sell the vehicle as it is and get a new one instead? In which case, he has an additional 60,000 Rand to spend on top of what he gets for the Avanza. Guys, get a new engine, slap it in, or get rid of the Avanza, get another Avanza.
I really hope Ryan listens carefully. Don't even consider trying to replace that engine. The problem is, it's not just the engine that's missing there. If that engine's been stolen, I guarantee that vehicle was found with this engine.
They drove it to the police pound, by the way.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you can only imagine what's missing there. To find a replacement engine, 30,000, 40,000 Rand minimum.
Yeah.
Then the ancillaries that go with it, the bell housing, what is missing. He will get 30,000 Rand, I believe, for that vehicle, more or less as is. Take his 60,000 Rand, he's got 90,000 Rand, get a replacement Avanza.
If you can find one.
If you can find one for 90K.
You will, funny enough, you will. Anywhere from 65 to 90,000, 1.3 or the 1.5 SX.
You found any on your sell your vehicle
Well,
platform?
on our site you wouldn't, unfortunately, because it's too old a car, absolutely. But I can assure you that in that price range, 90,000, there's a glut of Avanzas. He must take his time, find the right vehicle. Little thing, he goes and puts a new engine in there. Then he's got to go for police clearance. Got to go change the papers. Get shot of that vehicle, the person who's buying it, I would give them the same advice. Be buying it for parts.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of stuff that you could use, I imagine. The seats, the tailgate, the bonnets, the doors, etc.
Okay, Kumbi.
Yeah, that's.
You agree, or?
I have to agree with you. I mean, I'm no expert in terms of mechanical and etc. But I think I have to agree. I wouldn't go through that trouble.
The process,
Yeah, I think my friend's car was stolen, and that entire process of police clearance and etc. I don't want to go through that. I think I'll just sell the car and sell the shell, I guess, what's left, and do what I need to do.
You see,
deal with the problem.
Yeah.
Brian didn't tell us what's left in the vehicle. He just says it's missing an engine. Maybe if he filled us in and, okay guys, what's left in my car is the 2 rear taillights.
Sure.
And no doors.
But in terms of his actual question, where would he find an engine? Essentially only your scrap yards are going to have an engine
second-hand
like that.
engines, import engines. You'll find this engine anyway. If this was my vehicle and I have the knowledge to put it together, if Brian has the know-how to put it together, it wouldn't cost him too much of money.
You just have to do that exercise, and just if you look
And
around
check,
to see
yes,
how much
and what it'll cost.
second-hand engines cost. I know they're not cheap,
Yeah.
because anything for taxi, there's a massive demand for them.
Correct.
And so you're going to find out what it costs.
But he will get an aftermarket, not aftermarket, but he will get a second-hand engine.
Yeah, you could look around.
Yeah.
But
What would you indicate the price to be there?
I'd say 30K, he'd probably get this running.
Yeah,
if he's paying someone to do the job for him. 30, 35K, he'll get it running.
I agree with what Kumbi says as well in terms of the police clearance, because now this is going to be stamped and tagged that this is a stolen, recovered car. It always becomes a problem like that. Especially he's using this vehicle to schlep kids and back to school.
And
so if he gets stopped by the cops all the time, if he doesn't do the process, it's going to be a headache. So I'm with you, Mike. Get rid of it, move on, but find yourself another one, because you never know. And Michael's right. You buy the engine, you put it in. Oh, hell, we need this, we need that, before you know it, you've committed so much that it's cost you so much money, you might as well just bought one that's working.
Correct.
Okay, we're going to end off things with a question from Saeed, who says he recently purchased and had fitted 4 new tires to his vehicle. A few days later, he had a closer look at the tires and found only 2 of the 4 had a manufacturer's date stamped on them. The tires were made locally by a well-known brand. Is the manufacturer required by law to stamp each tire with the date it was made? And if so, does it mean that his tires are rejects and therefore unsafe? Do you guys know how to tell what year a tire is made?
Yeah. I don't.
Okay, so I'll tell you. If you look on the side of the tire, you'll see a little stamp. It's normally like an oval shape. It'll have 4 numbers in it. It'll say, for argument's sake, 0421, which means the tire was made on the 4th week, 21.
4th month.
4th month.
Sorry, 4th week.
4th week.
4th week of the whatever year it is,
Okay, 21.
So 0421 will say 4th week, year 21. So if it says like 3715, it's made, it was 37th week, the 15th year. So I bought a Porsche the other day, and it says on the tires 0405.
Wow.
So the tires are brand new.
In 2005.
They were put in
16 years
2005, so they have to go in the bin. Okay. And that's the problem. So definitely, in this case, I would say take it back to who you bought the tires from and say to them, there's no date on these tires. You're unaware if they're safe or they're not safe. You want new ones. Or maybe you just missed the spot where that little mark, because there's a little thing like this, it's a tiny little thing like this. So just have a look properly. Otherwise, take it back. They must give you one. So
well,
you know
what,
it's safe.
Would that be on both sides? Sorry,
yes, they turn the tire around. The tires.
Is that not possible that they've just mounted it?
It could be. It's a good question. I'm not too sure if it is on both sides, because I've always just seen it on the outside, but I didn't ever bother to look on the inside.
Very possible.
It could be possible that it is, like Mike says, on the inside of the tire. But take it back to the tire place. They'll help you, and they'll say, no, look, it was manufactured this date and everything's okay.
And a personal thank you to our viewer for enlightening me.
There we go. This is why we're here. Every day you learn something new.
And with that, we've come to the end of this week's episode. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Kumbi, for joining us once again and providing our viewers with some useful tips and advice. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Remember, if you're in the market for a new set of wheels, whether it be a compact SUV, an economical city runabout, or a premium hatchback, visit changecars.co.za and see if they can beat your quote.
Until next time, please buckle up and keep it safe on the roads.
Buyer's Guide was brought to you by Change Cars, the platform where only manufacturer-approved dealers are allowed to advertise.